Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Godot community. I'm Sarah Rising. I will be the moderator for this episode. I want to thank you guys for joining us. If you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks for coming back. Today will be our last episode for the year, and this one is going to be the second part in curriculum connections. This one is lots of connections for 3rd through 5th grade. If you're here, remember the best use of this platform is to connect with each other. So at the end, I'm going to pose a discussion question. So if you would, turn on the subscription and make sure you've got reminders turned on so that you get notified if people post, when people post. All right, so this is part 2, and I'm sure you guys are already doing work like this, and this is just more or less just to give you some ideas to jumpstart those ideas. So previously I focused on social studies, and in this one I'm going to talk to you guys about some ways that you can incorporate science into your art lessons. And I'll take you through some ideas and show you those, and then we'll pose that question at the end. All right, so here we go. So as you all know, the science connections in art materials covered in the 3rd through 5th grade curriculum can be connected with relative ease. 3rd graders learn about pollution, conservation, rocks and soil. Light, force, and space are part of the 4th grade studies, while 5th graders work on cells and physical and chemical changes. I'll share some idea starters you can use with your art students that are inspired by the science curriculum. And a lot of these ideas I've used in the classroom, but I'm also finding some new things out there from art education related bloggers. So these projects can also work well as a center-based unit. So if you want to treat them more like a mini unit, you can set up your room for the week if you see your kids for a week, or you can set them up for a daily and maybe rotate them through the 4 stations each day. Just depends on how you want to handle that. All right, so the first thing that, let me move that there. Physical changes is a one of the standards, and I haven't done this one yet, but it's on the to-do list. This is called clay drip sculptures. And in this, I got it from Make a Mark Studios, and she creates this great lesson inspired by an artist named Dan Lamb, and Dan Lamb makes these really cool, it's almost like slime. So the kids seem to be really into slime, except the older kids might feel like they're a little too cool or a little too old for it. But this you can use model magic, and then you just kind of put it on a ledge, create it, let it dry, and then you can go back in and paint it. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to the site and show you how to do that. And then before I forget, the PowerPoint presentation will be linked directly so that you can get in here and click on these things that are shared in this PowerPoint presentation. All right, the other is a Cholula-inspired art. There are a couple options here. The first one would be you've done the water bottles where you color on them with Sharpie and then melt them with the hairdryer. The other option would be to do something similar, but using coffee filters and coloring on those, dipping them in starch and then draping them to form the shapes. Both are nice lead-in-tos for Cholula and also relate back to physical changes. In this one, I've linked all about glass blowing, and that is a nice video that you can share with your kids. It's real short. I think it's only like 4 minutes long. So both of those are good resources for physical changes. All right, I've included a couple of ideas for force. Pendulum painting, it's a great way for students to engage and learn about forces of motion and gravity. You can hang a paintbrush from a fixed object so it can swing freely back and forth. These in the image here is a water bottle with the little pop top that you can put paint in to do that. That's a nice one for this time of year too. If you're trying to get outside, you just lay down the plastic and you can work with some easels or some tripods. I'm sure that there are some places around school that you can find somebody to loan you some of those good supplies. The other one that's a good one for force is the Calder mobiles. And these are, wherever I've put these little icons for links, if you click on the picture, it'll take you to the link for the site. And so I've linked both of these where you can get a little more specific information. I only have 10 minutes. I had a lot of ideas, so I put a lot of links in here so you can go back and research. But these are great exercises in art that kind of build on the concepts of force and balance. All right, space and earth, that's always a favorite. That's one of my favorite ones. And what you can do is, this is a good one also for getting outside. The galaxy chalk art, if you are, especially with it being this time of year, you can get outside, and this is a fun one to do outside. The solar system value lesson is a nice one. For the kids, they can create their own planets, but teaching value with that one. And then something else you can do is you can incorporate texture within this lesson using foil tooling, where they design a rocket ship. So using pattern and making that relief foil tooling project is a nice way to lead into that project. All right, pollution and conservation. This is a great way to cover nature. We have Earth Day in March, and this one is the sample that I've put on here. They can create posters. You can work with your school to and with the classroom teachers. You could also use it in cut-up magazines and work on a collage for that one. This STEM project, and again, there, like I said, links directly to where I found these sources that will give you lots of detail. This bug, I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but it's a three-dimensional project. So it's folded paper, and you can kind of see in the leaf, in the wings there, it's folded up. This one will get you focused on patterns and 3 dimensions, so a little bit of sculpture in there. And then the Audubon doing birds and animals, and you can relate that back to Audubon. I did include a link to a video here, and then this, there's lots of ways that you can incorporate birds and animals into that lesson. And again, links for all of those there. All right, the topic of light comes up both in science and in our art curriculum. So I've included 3 different versions here. The shadow drawing and painting, and this one you can introduce negative and positive space. You can use shadow tracing to create designs on paper to really see the effect of negative and positive space. And then you can also take it more into an abstract realm and let the shadows that you trace become the basis for the art, and this one using watercolors. Gems and minerals, while it could fall back into rocks and soil, I put it in here with light simply because you're using minerals, crystals, and gems as the inspiration, using rulers to draw out the shapes, and then talking about value and how you see through the crystals and see the light in there. So what you'll want to do is show them real-life examples, and if you can find them, work with your science and STEAM specialists in your school to maybe get some samples of those pieces to actually have on hand for the kids to study and to observe. This one is my favorite. I did this last year, and if you've not seen this artist, I want to take a quick minute just to show you his work. So let me go ahead and play this. He takes objects, casts shadow, and then creates the art based on the shadow that is cast. So take a peek at this real quick. So that's a sneak peek into that one. But what I did was my STEM teacher had lots of little tiny flashlights. So I just filled buckets with, at the tables with little, just random objects. And the kids, we cut the lights off, and then they had their flashlights, and they had to work in partners because one person had to hold the flashlight. And then they quickly, created that. Eventually, they figured out ways where they could prop the flashlights up and do it themselves. So that's a really fun lesson, and it is really engaging for the kids. All right. Well, I hope that these ideas convince you just how you can, if you're not doing it already, and I'm sure you are, but just to show you how those things you're probably already doing are indeed connecting to the science curriculum in the work that we're doing in the art room. So here's just some more ideas to get you started. And then before we wrap up the year, if you guys wouldn't mind, would you please share what you're doing in your classrooms relating to science? So make sure we get that dialogue going and share those ideas out with each other. And that's all I have. So thanks for joining all of our episodes this year. And I wish you guys a great conclusion to the school year. It was good to see you. Bye.